Hey everybody, fly I'm going to tie for you today is a new one that I've started tying, and I call it the Dog's Breakfast Nymph because it's got a little bit of everything on it. It's got some pheasant tail, it's got some peacock herl, it's got stripped peacock quill, it's got a little bit of wood duck feathers. So it's got a little bit of everything. So it's a dog's breakfast. So we'll start out here. We've got UTC 140 in olive, and we've got a size 14 curved nymph hook, kind of scud hook in the vise here with a tungsten bead on it because we need a little extra weight on this one. All right, so we'll just get the thread on here, and I want to build up a good taper. So I kind of go back to the head and then back down a little ways and back to the head, back down a little ways, and build up just a bit of a taper here. And we're going to go right down the bend of the hook. Let's snip off our excess thread there. And then we're going to adjust the position of the hook in order to tie on our first material, which will be our tail materials, which is what we're using the like mallard flank wood duck feather for. All right, so we're just gonna pull the fuzzies off of there, and I pull off, quite a few. Okay, let's say maybe about that much. That's, I don't know, that's maybe a dozen pieces or so. Okay, just pull them off. Try and keep them as even as you can, so that we get a decent kind of smattering there of tail material. We don't want the tail to be too long, so we're going to kind of pinch it off right about here and tie it on. Try and keep it on the top of the hook shank if you can. And you can see there I still made that tail kind of long, so I'm just going to shorten it a little bit and then just kind of tie it down a little bit. Usually go under just a bit there, and then I work this back up the shank of the hook, and I fold that part back over just to kind of help with the taper a little bit. I mean, it's a nymph, so the more stuff we have on it is the more weight we have, so that's what we're going to do here. All right, and we're just going to cover all that up with our thread. Again, just kind of moving back towards the back of the hook. Still a little bit of stuff showing there. I'm just going to snip right off. Okay. So we've got that out of the way. And again, we're going to concentrate on kind of building up that taper a little bit. Whoop. And work our way back. Okay, so we're back here now. We got to tie in our next material, and our next material is going to be our stripped peacock quill. This is actually kind of the herl, the lower part of the feather. But I was looking at these that I'd already cut and stripped the eyes, and I just looked at these and thought, you know what? I think those will be a little bit wider. They'll have a little bit better coloration, so I chemically stripped them just like I did with the others with bleach and baking soda and whatever. And they came out really nice. So I'm going to continue to use those. I have a whole bunch of them now that are ready for me to use them. In order to preserve the longevity of those peacock quills, that is, catch more than one fish before it's torn, I put on a little bit of Loon UV cure here. Not much, just enough to kind of coat the hook shank and then cure it on. And for that I use the thin. Okay, and we'll take off one of these pieces here. Okay, and it's already, you can see here, I broke that in there, but that's all right because I'm not going to need the whole thing. So I'm going to tie it on, just work my way back up the hook shank, and then I'm going to run my thread over here where it won't get in the way. Because when you're working with peacock quills, and they're delicate. I'm just going to add a tiny bit more of the UV stuff here because I moved a bit of it around with my thread. Okay. Always good to use your hackle pliers to keep a better grip on this stuff. I think I nicked it on the jaws of my vise there, actually. Okay, so not quite touching wraps. So we're back to not quite touching wraps. Really gives us that look of segmentation. Going around and around. Whoop, that one didn't line up where I wanted it. There we go. Whoop, dragged it on the vise again. Okay, so you can see I'm definitely getting that kind of striping, segmented effect there. Bring my thread back over. And tie the quill down. You can see my last segment there doesn't look great, but it's going to be covered up in a minute anyway, so not too big a deal if it doesn't. So now that I've got it tied down, I'm just going to snip it off close. Okay, so now that we've got the quill on there, I'm going to give it a shot with the torch to harden it. Okay. Then we're going to adjust the position of the hook in the vise again, because now we're going to be doing the thorax. All right, so thorax and legs. The rest of this is like a kind of a typical pheasant tail nymph. So I'm going to take a bunch of pheasant tail fibers off of my feather here. Let's say, like 8 or 10. Looks like I've got 8 there. Okay. Always tricky to get the length of these right, because we don't want them to be too long, but we want them long enough that they'll reach. All right, so I usually make them kind of the length of the hook, and then that seems to work out pretty well. All right, so we'll tie those in gently at first, and then we'll just wrap them down. Okay. And we'll trim off the excess. Okay. And, uh-oh, I lost my peacock herl. I had a brand new fresh piece. Oh well, find it later. Okay, so I'm going to tie on now. Okay, just another piece of peacock herl that I found here. It's been used a couple of times, but there should be enough left. Okay, so we'll get that on there. Give us that nice green built up thorax. All right, really key to get it laying the right way. Makes it look bushy and thick. Okay. So we got that tied down. Cut it off. All right, and then we'll bring our legs over, which makes kind of a good wing case on the back. Tie them down and give them a little bit of a pull there, and that makes them stand up. Okay, at this point we want to separate the legs, so we got same number on both sides. All right, that should be 4 and 4. And those legs are a tad bit longer than I would normally make them, but they'll work. Then we can whip finish this puppy and finish it off. So it doesn't take very long to tie. It's a nice quick fly, but it's got that quill body, realistic look of segmentation, realistic coloration, to get the fish interested. All right, to finish it off, I always give a little bit of the Loon UV on the wing case. Just makes it pop, makes it look a little bit bigger and I don't know, more realistic. I just like how it looks. Whatever the excuse is, I like how it looks. Give that a shot with the torch. Oop, I think my batteries are going. All right, that should be hard enough. So there you have it. That's our dog's breakfast nymph. All right, we got the quill body there. We got nice tail materials with the mallard flank and realistic pheasant tail legs. Nice little wing case here on the top. It's a nice little fly, quick and easy to tie. Thanks for watching.